Hey there everyone, Aditi Dubey back with you. And today we are diving into one of cancer's sneakiest survival traits, angiogenesis. Last time we explored the tumor microenvironment, cancer's twisted neighborhood. Now let's zoom in on how it keeps itself fed. Cancer's a hungry beast, and angiogenesis is how it builds its own supply lines. Buckle up. This one's a game changer. So, what's angiogenesis? It's the process of growing new blood vessels. In a healthy body, this happens when you need it, like healing a cut or growing as a kid. Blood vessels deliver oxygen and nutrients, the fuel for life. But tumors, they hijack the system. Once a tumor gets bigger than about a millimeter, tiny, right? It can't survive on whatever drifting by. Diffusion won't cut it anymore. It needs a dedicated pipeline. Without a blood supply, it stalls out, like a car with no gas. Angiogenesis is how cancer solves that problem. It builds its own highways to keep growing, spreading, and thriving. It's not just a side effect, it's a must have for tumors to turn dangerous. How does it pull this off? Cancer cells are like crafty architects. They send out distress signals, chemical SOS messages, to trick the body into helping. These signals say, hey, we need blood vessels over here. And the body, thinking it's doing a good deed, starts construction. The star of the show is a molecule called VEGF, vascular endothelial growth factor. VEGF, like the foreman on the job site, shouting orders to nearby cells to sprout new vessels. Cancer cells crank up VEGF production, waving it around like a flag to lure blood vessels closer. Other molecules pitch in too, like angiopoietins, which stabilize the new pipes, or FGF, fibroblast growth factor, which eggs things on. It's a team effort, all orchestrated by the tumor to keep its belly full. VEGF's the big name here, though. It binds to receptors on blood vessels, kickstarting a frenzy of growth. Normally, this is tightly controlled. Your body doesn't just sprout vessels willy nilly, but cancer flips that switch to always on. The result? A tangled mess of leaky, chaotic blood vessels feeding the tumor, letting it bulk up, and even giving it roads to send cells elsewhere. Hello, metastasis. That's why we call it feeding the beast. Cancer's not just surviving, it's grogging itself thanks to this trick. Let me take you into my lab for a real world story. A couple of years ago, we were testing a drug to block angiogenesis, specifically targeting VEGF. We had these mice with tumors, and the idea was simple: cut off the supply lines, starve the beast. I will never forget the day we checked the results. We would treated half the mice with this anti-VEGF drug. Think of it like jamming the foreman's megaphone. The one other half got nothing. After a few weeks, we sliced up the tumors. Sorry, bit gross, and looked under the microscope. The untreated ones, packed with blood vessels, red and thriving. The treated ones, pale, shriveled with barely a vessel in sight. The tumors were shrinking. I high fived my lab partner so hard my hand stung. It wasn't a cure. Cancer's too sneaky for that. But it was proof. Hit the supply lines, and you can slow the beast down. The drugs now in trials for patients, and every time I think about it, I get goosebumps. So, angiogenesis in cancer's lifeline, a feast it builds for itself. Next time, we'll talk about how it packs up the moves, metastasis. For now, picture those blood vessels sneaking toward a tumor. How do we block them for good? That's what keeps me coming back to the lab. Catch you at the next one.